He's got the size advantage, he's got the height advantage, and he's got a half-inch in reach.
My bad.
He needs to utilize.
Just watching some Andre Berto versus Jose Zito Lopez. The question fans are not asking themselves, and I noticed is, okay, well, when you're boxing, it's a fight. You don't know how you're going to leave the ring. That's why Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest of all time. Now, I'm not saying he is the greatest, one of the greatest of all time, because to fight the level of opposition that he's fought, and for him to be 48-0, when you get into that ring, you're risking your life each and every time you fight. So the point I'm trying to get to is, well, first let me say this. Showtime All Access, Episode 2, Mayweather Berto, premieres September the 4th, 2015, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what if it's Andre Berto? Are you thinking about what if it's Andre Berto? What if Andre Berto is the one to solve the Mayvinci code? I know it sounds crazy, but if you look at it, I'm going to point out a couple of facts to you. I'm not saying, whoa. I'm not saying Andre Berto is going to win. I'm not saying that at all, so don't put words in my motherfucking mouth. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that Andre Berto is a style that Floyd Mayweather hasn't seen in quite some time. When you look at Marcos Maidana, we know the style Marcos Maidana brings. You know, wild, unpredictable. You know, you'll get hit in the balls. You'll likely get head-butted. When you look at Manny Pacquiao, that was a different style, a fast southpaw, left-handed, whether southpaw fighter, whether he was injured or not. When you look at Miguel Cotto, good boxer. He's got good foot movement. But when you look at Andre Berto brings something different to us. And Andre Berto is not, in my opinion, as fast as Floyd Mayweather. He's more accurate, but he's up there with hand speed, and he's not a flat-footed fighter, even though he doesn't move enough. Watching the Jose Zito Lopez fight in the background, we know there was a controversial decision. I've noticed that they've been, my bad, Al Heyman, thank you. I've noticed that that Andre Berto, if you haven't noticed, has problems with pressure fighter power punchers. When you look at his defeats against Soto Karass, Victor Ortiz, Robert Guerrero, what did those fighters do? They roughed Andre Berto up. They crowded his space. Andre Berto going up against a boxer, in my opinion, may have a better chance. Floyd Mayweather has 26 KOs. Floyd Mayweather, in my opinion, is not going to drop or knock out Andre Berto. But Andre Berto does have a chance. Now, I'm not trying to be some bullshit-ass motherfucker that's just out here trying to sell the fight because, you know, we're going to be covering the fight. I'm saying that, well, styles make fights. Launching September the 12th, 2015. Styles make fights. And from what I'm seeing and what I know of Andre Berto, even though I may have clowned him in the past, I cover every single Andre Berto fight, whether he likes it or his team likes it or not. What I've seen from him is that he can box. He is pretty good. And for fans who don't know, this has been a fight that's been in the making for God knows how long. Remember, what if Andre Berto would have beat Robert Guerrero? Would he have got Floyd Mayweather in? What if Andre Berto would have beat Soto Karass, even though Soto Karass didn't go on to fight Floyd Mayweather? Would he have got him then? What if Andre Berto had went on to beat Victor Ortiz? That was the fight of the year. Would he have got him then? You see what I'm saying? So this is one of those fights, in my opinion, that have been in the making for God knows how long. And it was up to Andre Berto to lose the chance to fight Floyd Mayweather. But now, since he beat Jose Zito Lopez in what they're saying was a dominant win, in my opinion, he didn't beat Jose Zito Lopez in a dominant fashion. The stoppage, if you don't remember, was somewhat controversial. Go back and watch the fight. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a playlist of Andre Berto's fights on the page and a playlist of Floyd Mayweather's fights on the page, because you got to go back and research. Andre Berto was having some issues with Jose Zito Lopez jab. And remember, Andre Berto was fighting a fighter in Jose Zito Lopez, which going into that fight was somewhat of a 50-50 fight because of the Rocky, he's called the Riverside Rocky style of Jose Zito Lopez. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but for some reason, I want fans to understand, like, what if Floyd Mayweather, as they say, cherry-picked the wrong opponent? What if he cherry-picked, as fans are saying, cherry-picked the wrong guy? Andre Berto is not, you know, he's not a bum, and he's not as bad as fans may say he is. Should he be fighting Floyd Mayweather on pay-per-view? Hell no. Let's just go over something. Andre Berto quietly won the WBA interim title at 147 pounds from Jose, well, you know, during the Jose Zito Lopez fight. And it was just a fight that they said, okay, well, let's find a belt for these guys to fight for. They found the WBA interim, almost like this past weekend when Leo Santa Cruz beat Abner Maris and won the WBC diamond belt at 126 and WBA interim, both belts, two belts that don't mean nothing. They don't get you nowhere and no rankings nowhere. But still, you got number 3, right? When it comes to the WBA, you got number 3, who's Andre Berto, the WBA interim champion. You got Keith Thurman. I had a chance to talk to Keith Thurman about this. You got Keith Thurman. In fact, I want to play that video for you. You got Keith Thurman, who's the WBA world champion. Now, what that means is, even though it says world, does not mean you're the recognized champion in that division. That's just what they call their belt, the WBA world or the WBA regular champion. Then number 1, you got Floyd Mayweather, who's the WBA super world. I didn't know that you could have Earth and you can have super Earth. You know, I didn't know. You know, my bad. I'm getting pissed. But hold on, I want to play this Keith Thurman video for you. But what it is you got Keith Thurman, who's a fighter that fans have been wanting to see Floyd Mayweather fight, or who would love to see Floyd Mayweather fight. Keith Thurman's been calling out Floyd Mayweather for God knows how long. But yet, Floyd Mayweather picks the guy when it comes to championships who's under him, which makes no sense to me. Now, of course, Keith Thurman, hold on. I'm going to find it. The video is going to be a little long. I got a chance to sit down with Keith Thurman and talk to him about the situation with him and Mayweather and the belt situation. And I really want you guys to hear this, so therefore you can hear it, you know, for yourselves. And it's the reason why I like to go and do interviews now, because it supports a lot of the shit that I talk about. So hang in there. Once again, Showtime All Access Episode 2, Mayweather vs. Berto, will be premiering on September the 4th, 2015.
Berto shaking his head again.
My bad. That's still the
We've seen that multiple times throughout
Here we
the fight,
go.
but those shots to the
That's still the
body
Berto
are
Lopez fight.
coming from Lopez, and he keeps working it. But here we see again, right there, Berto had Lopez against the...
All right, give me a minute. But basically, before you hear it for yourself, Keith Thurman was talking about how Floyd Mayweather or WBA champions, okay, here we go, don't have a mandatory. The WBA world champion. A question a lot of fans have been asking is, why haven't you gone to the WBA as far as Floyd is the WBA Super Bowl? Why have you?
Because I already talked about it earlier. A super champion is not obligated to fight any mandatories. He has 0 mandatories. I cannot even if I wanted to go to the WBA, there is no power. He is above the power with that super title.
Okay.
That super title puts him on a special cloud above everybody else, where he's floating around getting fed, you know, grapes and strawberries and all the goodies. You know what I'm saying? He's in his little private chamber and nobody can touch him. I cannot go to the WBA and demand, why don't you do this? You know, because I've been the #1 contender, and that is how I got the regular title in the first place. When Floyd was the regular champion, I was the mandatory. When they elevated him, they elevated me. And by doing that, I, the regular champion, I read it. The day I found out about it, I read all up on the internet about it. I, the regular champion, I have a mandatory. The funny thing is, my mandatory happens to be Andre Berto. That's my mandatory. And Floyd isn't fighting the regular champion, but now he wants to fight the regular champion's mandatory when it's Andre Berto, not when he was the champion and his mandatory was Keith one-time Thurman. He took the higher way up and out.
Ain't that crazy? So Keith Thurman, I did this when I was at Garcia versus Malignaggi, because the first question I said, you know, if I get a chance to talk to Keith Thurman, he's been talking all this shit about how he wants to fight Floyd Mayweather. I'm going to ask him, why didn't you just go to the WBA and say, yo, like, let me fight my mandatory? But turns out, When you're the WBA Super World Champion, you have no mandatory. I'm going to post a full interview that I did right there in the description box. You have no mandatory, but yet Keith Thurman, who's the WBA World Regular Champion, mandatory is Andre Berto, but Andre Berto is fighting Floyd Mayweather. Like I said, the fight is a lot more interesting than people are making it out to be. You know, and I want to say that I really feel that Andre Berto is not going to be. I see something like 116, 112 for Floyd Mayweather. I don't see it being a situation where Andre Berto is going to lose every single round. This is a man who's been training like a madman up there with Virgil Hunter, talking about the harvest, you know, and he's been training for God knows how long. I don't think he's just coming in there, especially after the career that he's had with the losses to Soto Carras, Robert Guerrero, Victor Ortiz. I don't think he's coming out there to not go out on his shield. For some reason, and you're hearing it here, I'm thinking that Andre Berto is going to do some damage, man. I'm not saying he's going to win. But for some reason, I'm feeling Andre Berto is going to do a little bit of damage to Floyd Mayweather. I'm just saying, I know I have a reputation, whatever that may be. I'm just saying that it's not going to be an easy fight. Ticket sales are not doing good. Okay, put it this way, they're selling. You don't know with Floyd Mayweather's, how can I put it, his popularity, that if those tickets will sell out on the last night, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a whole bunch of rich people in Vegas on September the 12th that if there's a lot of tickets available, they're going to say, oh, wait a minute, Floyd fighting tonight? Oh, yeah, let's go over there real quick. You know, you got many fans saying that they're not going to pay for the pay-per-view. Of course, with what I do, I have to have that on my DVR. You got a lot of fans saying they're going to stream, but I'm saying this, like, realistically, it's Floyd Mayweather. People may not like who he's fighting, or more so, majority of the people who buy his pay-per-views are doing it for Floyd Mayweather. When he fights, like I said in the previous video, it's kind of like an unofficial end to the summer. It's like, oh, Floyd Mayweather fighting? Oh, yeah, well, we got to make sure we had a barbecue and things like that. Even if his fans don't know or care who he's fighting, they're still going to watch him fight. But when it comes to the hardcore fans, why would we buy this fight, or why should you buy this fight? I'm saying like this. I look at Andre Berto being an underdog, but a very live underdog. People thought that Floyd Mayweather just was going to dance the night away against Marcos Maidana. I knew better. But that fight still did around 800 to 900,000 pay-per-view buys, somewhere in between there, even though numbers were never officially released. Like I said, what if it's Andre Berto, you know? What if it's Andre Berto that's able to solve the Mayvinci code one more time? Showtime All Access Episode 2, Mayweather versus Berto, will be premiering September the 4th, 2015. That's Friday night. 2015. That's Friday night. I'm thinking around 10:30 or so p.m. Eastern Standard Time. TstreeT Controversy, and of course, we cover every single major fight live. And now we're at the point where we're covering every single major fight live. Please subscribe.